Hello everyone, my friends, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that often causes confusion and even fear among beginners. This is the financial market. Many believe trading in the market is complex, accessible only to professionals with years of experience, and deep knowledge in economics and finance is necessary for success. But do you know what the most interesting thing is? The market is indeed much simpler than you might think, and let's certainly figure out why that is. Let us start, of course, with trading. Trading is always very interesting. Definitely. Let's analyze the market a bit. Oh, of course, I have already looked at it. And at the moment, I see that many currency pairs are starting to decline actively, especially the Australian dollar. We simply choose pocket option and convert our Australian dollar to US dollar. We see a very strong drawdown in the market, and of course, we are trying to work this out as a counter-trend situation. But of course, let's talk about financial markets. After all, financial markets are not some mysterious realm that only a select few understand. In fact, it is simply a place where buyers and sellers exchange assets, whether they are stocks, currencies, commodities, or other instruments. Market prices fluctuate based on supply and demand. This movement can be profitable. This is what makes the market accessible to anyone who wants to try their hand at trading. Also, if you want to try your hand at trading, subscribe to my Telegram channel where we trade and earn. We typically have 2 trading sessions every day, during which we earn a reasonable amount of cash to move forward. We are opening another position, unfortunately this time for a decline. The market is very strong and the drop here is also very significant. The price drops down, corrects slightly, and then continues to go down. This indicates that the strength of the sellers is very high, and that is why we opened a position for a decline. There is nothing complicated about this, but of course you will say that it is so difficult. You need to study tons of information, keep up with the news, and analyze charts. Yes, unfortunately it may seem confusing at first glance, but I really want to dispel this myth. Most successful traders are indeed not scientists or economics gurus. It's not that difficult to set a couple of levels and determine that the price is moving in a sideways range. It is also worth noting that the price has once again approached the previous minimum, which is also a level for us. And all of this tells us that buying or selling there right now is not the best decision. Let's look at other currency pairs and search for something interesting. On many assets, we notice a good trending decline, so we go back to pocket option and open a classic standard currency pair, which is the Euro-US dollar, and we open a position in this case for a sharp downward trend as the market is falling sharply. Let's continue. Most successful traders are not scientists or economics gurus. They simply understand the basic principles of how the market works and know how to use all available tools. This is essentially the key to understanding the fundamental principles that allow for successful trading. Let's start with the fact that the main movements in the market are trends. All you need to know at the initial stage is how to recognize whether the market is going up or down. This or remains in a sideways range. Just this knowledge of information gives you a significant advantage. Trends are not something complicated. They are simply the direction in which the price is moving, and if you can recognize it, you can profit from these movements. And we return to the Australian dollar and open a position for a decline again, as the market has corrected slightly and there is a very high probability that the movement will go down. But as you can see, corrections do not always happen as we would like, and the market continues to rise. Of course, another position could have been opened, but in this case we see that it was worth waiting a bit and actually doing so. But our entry is quite good, and the price is already hovering around our opening point. Accordingly, it falls further down. Working with the trend is something that every trader needs to know and, of course, to be able to do. Another important element that simplifies understanding the market is, of course, strategies. There are many simple and clear strategies that do not require in-depth knowledge of the market. For example, this is trend trading, one of the most popular and very effective strategies. If the price just goes up, you buy. If it goes down, you sell. It's all quite simple. There is no need to study complex charts or intricate mathematical models. The main thing is to follow the trend and not to risk all your capital in one trade. It is also important to add that opening positions with the trend is very important after a correction. If the price is falling very sharply, then opening a position in the direction of the trend can only be done at your own risk. If the trend is standard, dynamic and shows a rise and fall, then one should wait for a correction and only then open a position. Believe me, this will save your deposit more than once. This is my experience, I already know it. You can also ask, what about the news and other factors that influence the market? Yes, news can have an impact, but again, it all comes down to supply and demand. When good news is released, the price of the asset is likely to go up. If the news is bad, then the price falls. This is simply the market's reaction to information. By knowing how news can affect prices, you can predict their movement. But specifically in the binary options market, this is absolutely irrelevant to us. We trade on the minimum time frame and capture minimal price movements. We do not trade at all during the news. This is absolutely handled by professional traders and they make money there. You can also try big trading, but believe me, with capital, even with my capital of $50,000, there is absolutely nothing to do there. There are absolutely different amounts, and for large players, $50,000 is like $100 for you. You can compare it approximately like that. Now, of course, let's talk about risks. As in any other business, trading in the market has its risks, but that doesn't mean you can't control them. The main thing is not to rush and not to try to make millions in one day. Believe me, you won't succeed. Risk management is the foundation of successful trading. You should always determine how much you are willing to lose in each trade and not exceed that limit. This will help you avoid significant losses and preserve your capital even if your position does not go in your favor. Another very important point that simplifies the market is, of course, the availability of analytical tools. Previously, traders had to manually draw charts, calculate indicators, and analyze vast amounts of data by hand. Today, all of this is done automatically. Trading platforms offer a variety of tools that help simplify market analysis. Indicators such as RSI and MACD are all available for mass use like everyone. These tools help you see trends, reversals, and key levels without forcing you to spend hours on manual calculations. But I still want to add that manual calculation is very important. One must learn to set levels on their own, one must look for and identify trends on their own, and one must understand how the RSI indicator works. For example, in this case, we are in deep oversold territory, and any indicator will tell you to buy in this case. But we are not that cool, because we continue to work on the continuation of the movement as the trend is strong, the trend is stable, and in this case, we still open positions for a decline. As soon as the market reverses, we will immediately change our working strategy and operate in the opposite trend. All of this is gained only through experience. Trading in the market is not rocket science. You can use simple tools such as support and resistance levels to understand where the price might reverse. This does not require deep knowledge or a lot of time. All that is needed is practice and, of course, a desire to learn. In our case, we have once again encountered a correction, and it turned out to be somewhat unpleasant. The pound is certainly falling quite well for us, and the support is very, very far away, but we can say that we are only experiencing a small correction. Nevertheless, I decided to change my opinion and open a position in this case for an upward movement. And another myth that I want to dispel is the belief that you need a lot of money to start trading. This is absolutely not true. You can start with a minimal deposit and gradually increase your volumes as your experience and confidence grow. It is very important to remember that money comes to those who are willing to learn and grow. Even with small amounts, one can start earning if they follow strategies and do not take unnecessary risks. Meanwhile, our position is already closing almost in the profit. The impulsive rise at the very end confirms the fact that a reversal has already begun and we have timely adjusted our positions. Although, of course, it is already evident here that the price has shot up sharply. One can try a different tactic by reducing the volumes and opening a position against the trend. But I certainly won't do that and will open another position for an increase. Now let's discuss the psychology of trading. Because this is a very important factor that often seems complicated for beginners, but even here everything is simpler than it seems. The main enemy of a trader is emotions, greed, fear, and anxiety. To succeed, one must learn to control emotions and follow a plan. For example, right now you see the emotion called fear and greed on the screen. I opened a long position and was waiting for the trend to rise. But after the price entered a sideways movement, I realized that there would be no reversal here and the price would not be able to go up any further, and I opened a position for a further decline. So there are two positions, one up and the other down. The long position of course closes with a loss, and the short position also closes with a loss for the simple reason that the price sharply went up and our entry point was not perfect. We should have waited a little longer. Therefore, we will cover the loss by opening another position, in this case for a decline, as after an impulsive rise, there is always a correction. And you must always follow your rules. To succeed, you need to learn to control your emotions and stick to the plan. Discipline is the foundation of success. You should not give in to panic if something goes wrong, as you planned. You should also not get too carried away if you manage to earn well and quickly. It is indeed very important to remain calm and act according to the strategy. Let's summarize. The market is simpler than you think. All you need is basic knowledge of trends, simple strategies, and an understanding of how to use analytical tools. Financial markets are open to everyone, and success depends not on complex theories, but on discipline, risk management, and the desire to learn. Our position is closing in profit, the market is rising a little bit more, and now let's say the so-called saw has started. It is also worth looking at the indicator that will show us the correction. We may have a correction, but I still decided to open another position. However, I should have waited a little before doing so. I understood that the price would eventually approach the resistance level and bounce off it. So let's quickly speed up the recording. Just a reminder that each candle represents 5 seconds. You can just observe how for 6 minutes I wait for the price to go up. Sometimes I tried opening a position, but I didn't have enough time and ended up opening it on my mobile phone. But when the price has almost reached the resistance level, again, I open a short position. And in this case, the last moment will close in profit. But if you want to learn more about how to trade in the market, feel free to ask questions in the comments or message me directly. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. And remember, the market is not a mystery. It is an opportunity available to anyone who is ready to take action. You need to start right now, and you will see that everything is much simpler than you thought.